Yeah, during our little trip we will, as we get nearer to Ellesmere Port, we will intermingle with the motorway system quite a bit. We go under the motorway quite a few times actually, both the M53 and the M56. Yes, back when this canal was opened in 1795, obviously these motorway bridges would not have been here. And the old steam-powered flatty boats that used to carry grain and even spurs that were made in Liverpool to export to Argentina. They were shipped over on these steam-powered flatties across the River Mersey and on to this stretch of the Shropshire Union into Ellesmere Port, and through onto Chester and onto Barbridge, and even onto other ships on the River Dee. I can only imagine how quiet it would have been then on the boats, just listening to the lovely chugging of the old engines, or even the horses' hooves as they trampled through the mud. It would have been something else. It would have been a lovely experience. It's lovely today, but they didn't have this, did they? But then again, that's progress, I suppose. The railways killed the canals, and the road and the freight system have helped kill the railways in the mid-60s. But it's funny, they're all starting to come back again. Hello, big fella. Hello, Gigi. Yeah, the first glimpse there as I come up under that bridge there. You can see the chimneys in the distance. I used to work there. That's Stanlow oil refinery. Had lots of happy years working there. Yeah, looking at the scenery that we're going through here, apart from the electricity pylons that are over my head and everywhere at the moment, you wouldn't believe we were so near such a large industrial complex or area as Stanlow. And of course, in 1795, when this waterway's open, it would have been very, very different. And of course then, with the building of the Manchester Ship Canal, all this area changed dramatically with the railways, with progress, with inventions. Yeah, it changed so much. It's got a lot of history around here. I won't be showing a lot of it on here. I'm not very good at doing the history or putting it over. Other channels are, but I do love it. I do like to have a quick research about it and learn a little bit about it. Not be so naive as to watch everyone else. But it's interesting. It is very, very interesting. But we're getting very close now, getting close to Ellesmere Port. In fact, from over here, we can virtually see Ellesmere Port. And when we get a little bit nearer, trust me, we will be able to smell Ellesmere Port, or the refinery, that's for sure anyway. There is also a very large sewerage treatment works as we're going in on the right hand side, so yeah, nice. Well, I just came out from under a bridge back there, and there was a gentleman walking his dog, and he shouted hello, and then he said, "You're on Forgo narrowboating." It's strange how much that's took off. He probably knows me off Forgo narrowboating and not off my own channel, but hey, it's great. It still amazes me that people recognise us out in the middle of nowhere. But having said that, we're not really out in the middle of nowhere now. We're getting into the heart of the industrial area of Ellesmere Port now. Local Harley Davidson store. This little bridge you can see up ahead, I used to drive over this bridge every morning going to work. Yeah, it's still strange. I have been under this bridge a few times now, but it's still strange to actually go under it rather than going over it. But it's a lot nicer to go under it, I do have to say. Not too far to go at all now. You may be able to hear the very busy M53 that is running just behind those trees. You can't actually see it, but you can certainly hear it, and that's the motorway that runs you into the city of Liverpool eventually. Yeah, very loud, very noisy, but we are going to go under that a couple more times before we get to our destination, obviously the National Waterways Museum. Yeah, very loud. But it's weird that you can't even see it. If you were to get on the trip boat from the National Waterways Museum, this is where it turns round. You do get a very short trip, but it's enjoyable. The kids love it. There was quite a large little railway network here that moved the goods off the ships to different ports around Ellesmere Port, and this is obviously one of the old railway bridges. Sorry if there's any wind noise, folks. Can't help it. The familiar smell of an oil refinery. I can actually smell Stanlow. I can smell the oil, the fumes. Yeah, it's quite overpowering. Well, to me it is. Brings back many memories. And of course, when it was raining, you could smell it even more. The oil floats and it used to come out of the drains. Sounds delightful, doesn't it? And there, just under this bridge, you can see the National Waterways Museum. At least the sun's shining now, eh? Right, I'm going to have to put my phone down and moor up. Well, as you can see, we are in the boat museum. It's all happened rather quickly. Very nice chaps came out and they opened the gates for Ian. So Ian's sitting in the first of two locks, so I'm going to do the lock for him. Doesn't he look grand? There he is. So I'm going to open the paddle and drop him down, and he'll go down into the first pound, and then there's another lock. So Ian's just dropping down and I'll show you where we go after that. Sorry, but it is very windy, so I'll open those gates. He will then go down into that pound, and then you can see another lock, and that will take him down to where we're going to moor up. And all this is the National Waterways Museum, and hopefully we can have a walk around a little bit later. Well, tea's sorted anyway. So Ian's just coming into the last lock now. Chugs is waiting to come down the first one. We're just filling the pound as we have to sort of equalise the water between the two locks. So it's not as straightforward as you'd think. Well, I'm in just lost my voice. I've just run from the gate. Yeah, I'm in Chugs now, just dropping down the first lock. to go into the pound, and then we're all going to do the same for Estrella. But the trouble is, there's not enough water in that pound in the middle to actually feed the lower lock to get it back up to the level of the pound. So we have to feed the water down from the canal through this first lock down into the pound, and then from the pound into the last lock, so as we can get the level. Did you understand that? Thank you. So that's it, we're moored up, and Chugs is in good company there. She's dwarfed by quite a few ships here. I am hoping to get a walk around the museum over the next couple of days that we're going to be here. But we're moored up right next door to a Holiday Inn, and I believe there's a bar, and I think we've earned a pint. So we're going to walk around and go and get a nice pint of Guinness. So we're just on the way to the pub, and there are quite a few sunken boats here. I know over the last few years they have removed a few of them, but yeah, bit of a repaint. I reckon that'll be all right.